Welcome to this lecture on basic principles of corrosion. My name is Dr. Ilaya Perumal. I am a corrosion and metallurgical consultant. First, let us see why corrosion problems occur. All metals exist in their natural state as ore. We benefit the ore to take the mineral of the metal out. This is called mineral beneficiation. From the extracted mineral, we take the metal out by reduction reaction in equipments like blast furnace used commonly for steel. Once we make the pure metal or alloy, we subject the metal to mechanical operations like casting, forging, rolling, etc. to bring the shape, which, which may be a plate or a pipe or a tube or a wire. Then we join all this by a process of welding to make the equipment. Then all the equipments are assembled to make the plant. Once the plant is ready for operation, if it is not protected, it will lead to environmental influence on corrosion. In this process, the energy is increasing from the ore to the metal while the metal is made. So the metal is a high energy state. During corrosion, the energy falls down to lower level. So corrosion is a spontaneous reaction similar to water falling from high level to low level. This we will call free fall later on. In thermodynamic language, this process involves negative free energy change. When metal goes to the ore, for example iron to rust, there is a negative free energy change. It falls from higher to a lower energy level. As I said, this is called free fall, like water falling from a higher level to a lower level. This negative free energy change is shown schematically in this thermodynamic diagram. The metal exists as metal on the red dotted line, and that is the energy level of the metal, whereas the rust or corrosion product or ore, you can call whatever you want, exists at a lower level. So in corrosion process, metal from a high energy level freely falls to a low energy level, and this process is called spontaneous reaction, and corrosion is a spontaneous reaction. In thermodynamic language, we call this as negative free energy change, and delta G, which is the change of energy during corrosion reaction, is negative. Hence, corrosion is a spontaneous reaction. Corrosion is electrochemical in nature. It is similar to battery. In battery, electrode reactions lead to current generation, whereas corrosion, it is a reverse of battery, in which contact current leads to oxidation. As you see here, two metals are in contact for all theoretical purposes, but in corrosion, two spots will act, one as anode, the other one act as a cathode within the same metal, be exposed to the same environment, and corrosion occurs in the anode. This we call it an oxidation, and you can see a small amount of rust is forming here on the anode. On the other hand, in cathode, reduction reactions will take place. We will see subsequently in the next one or two slides what are these reduction reactions. So you can notice that corrosion is a reverse of battery. We will go through the rust formation steps in this slide. Water exists as hydrogen ion and hydroxyl ion. Hydrogen ion is positively charged, hydroxyl ion is negatively charged. Ion exists as ion 2 plus, which is called a ferrous ion, in combination with the 2 electron. This electron movement is responsible for passing electric current in metal. When in corrosion reaction, when these two are coming together, the Fe2 plus will react with OH minus hydroxyl ion to form ferrous hydroxide. This, this ferrous hydroxide will combine with water, more and more water, to become crystalline ferric oxide, and this we call rust. Rust is a common corrosion product known to everybody. So this is the various rust forming steps. And we said water exists as hydrogen ion and hydroxyl ion. This hydrogen ion absorbs the electron given by ion to produce hydrogen atom, and two hydrogen atom will combine to form one hydrogen molecule. This we call it hydrogen gas. So in every corrosion reaction, hydrogen gas also comes out. And so in corrosion reaction, rust and hydrogen gas are the products. You will see later on in one or two lectures, this hydrogen is also very damaging to the properties of steel. Theory of corrosion we will show schematically in this couple of slides. In this slide you will see the metal ion getting dissolved into water as ion ferrous ion. So one atom of ferrous ion forming. This process leads to a gap in the metal. This is how we call it. During corrosion, thickness is reducing. You can see in this slide another ferrous ion is getting ready to leave, and these two ferrous ions will release electrons. These electrons will travel within the metal and go to the cathode. As you see in this slide, the cathode, the electron will combine with the two hydrogen atoms which is already present in the water phase. So these two hydrogen atoms will combine to form a hydrogen molecule. This hydrogen molecule will come out as gas. So you can see on the water exists as hydrogen ion and hydroxyl ion, and this hydrogen ion combines with the electron to form hydrogen, and this Fe gives out the necessary electron. So this left process is formation of ferrous ion, the right process formation of hydrogen. This is the theory of electrochemical theory of corrosion. In natural waters, there will not be hydrogen. So how does corrosion occur there? So here you can see in natural waters hydrogen ion activity. Hydrogen ion means H plus, and activity is very low, sometimes nil. There is no hydrogen ion. So in these cases, in natural waters, this reaction is the cathodic reaction. What you see in this reaction, the dissolved oxygen in water uh, combines with the electron, and this is the cathodic reaction giving rise to hydroxyl ion. So in the place of hydrogen ion, dissolved oxygen plays the role of reducing agent producing hydroxyl ion, and iron plus oxygen will combine in the presence of water to make ferrous hydroxide, and this is the starting of the rust formation. As we said earlier, this will absorb water to form rust. So for all practical purposes, the 2Fe plus O2 plus 2H2O going to 2Fe OH twice. This is the common reaction of any corrosion, and this is applicable to any metal. This is the schematic diagram to show in principle what is happening in during corrosion of steel in water. This is the this oxygen dissolved in water comes to the steel surface where electrons are available, and this will form hydroxyl ion. On this side, one atom of iron goes out and forms ferrous ions. These ferrous ions will combine with the hydroxyl ion to form ferrous hydroxide. So you can see the rust formation, which is the product from ferrous hydroxide. In this process, since iron is taken away from the steel, there is a gap. This is how corrosion proceeds. In this process, we lose already this thickness. So this is the engineering importance of corrosion. Corrosion means loss of thickness. You can see the anodic area where oxidation takes place, and cathodic area where reduction takes place. So this is how a corrosion cell is formed, electrochemical cell. The practical applications are shown in this couple of slides. The practical application of this common most important corrosion reaction, namely 2Fe plus oxygen plus H2O going to ferrous hydroxide. You can again repeatedly note that dissolved oxygen and moisture are essential for corrosion to occur. So, first application shows there is, if you stop oxygen, you can prevent corrosion, and this is done in de-aeration in thermal power plants and also in maintaining inert atmospheres like nitrogen for certain storage areas. So in the absence of oxygen, no corrosion takes place and the components are safe. On the other hand, you can see the water is also essential for corrosion. So you stop moisture. Moisture is the water phase in gaseous form. If you stop moisture, you can prevent corrosion of the components which are coming into contact with the moisture. And this principle is applied in dehumidifiers, which are used to prevent dry atmosphere in certain rooms of where things are packed, and also in overseas packing, silica gels are put which absorbs the moisture within the packing and thereby prevents the corrosion of the components. So these two are practical applications of the first popular reaction of corrosion, namely 2Fe plus O2 plus 2H2O going to ferrous hydroxide. What you see here is a painted panel in which a mechanical scratch is formed. Painting is the common method of preventing corrosion. Industrial paints, they call industrial paints. If there is a damage occurring on the painted coating, like a mechanical scratch or a crack during handling, the atmospheric moisture and oxygen get into the mechanical crack and will corrode the underlying metal. You can see the rust formation on the crack and how rust is proceeding by the side of the crack under the paint film. So even though painting is a very popular method of corrosion prevention, we should handle it very carefully so that mechanical scratches do not take place. So this is one of the important preventing methods of corrosion prevention. All the metals are classified according to their tendency to corrode in the form of a series called standard EMF series, electromotive force series. In this series, hydrogen is taken as a reference point, uh, and noble metals which do not corrode easily are called cathodic side, and they are on the noble side of the hydrogen, and the energies are given as positive. On the other hand, the active metals are called anodic metals, and they corrode faster than noble metals, and these are given negative energy values. When one active metal comes into contact with a noble metal, the active metal will preferentially corrode. This principle is applied in practice. The most important and well-known process known as galvanizing utilizes this series. In galvanizing, the zinc coated on steel. Zinc is more active than iron, and zinc preferentially corrodes, leaving iron, the base iron, protected from corrosion. So this is the principle of galvanizing. One more application is electroplating. In this electroplating, the noble metal like copper and nickel are given as an electroplated coat on active iron. You can see these bolts and nuts are electroplated either with copper or nickel, and you can see in this series both are more noble than iron. So in this process, the copper and nickel plating on iron prevents corrosion of iron. So these two examples are very common examples of application of EMF series. These are the key takeaways from this short lecture. We have seen exposure to the basic electrochemical theory of corrosion, and we have seen the most important information, namely water and dissolved oxygen are necessary for corrosion to occur, and we have seen practical applications like galvanizing and electroplating of the principles of EMF series of corrosion. Thank you very much. And you can, this book which you are seeing on this slide has been written by me and Professor V.S. Raja of IIT Mumbai. You can get many details of the subject of corrosion in this book. This book has been published by John Wiley USA, and you can get this book through Amazon. Thank you again.